Hey everybody, welcome back. Northernlion plays the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. Two good runs yesterday, fast runs. For those of you wondering, I did indeed eat a delicious lunch, like I said when we were fighting Mega Satan. I had some stir-fried pork and green beans. I gotta tell you, DQQJWP1B. I gotta tell you, it was delicious. I love vegetables, I really do. I'm not trying to flex. I know you might be thinking nobody really loves vegetables. I promise you, the proportion of people you meet that love vegetables will rise as you age. As a child, I don't think I ate my first leafy green vegetable, and this is genuine, on purpose at least, until maybe college, and even then it was probably like in my second year. When I was like, hey, if I just live like a slob forever, I'm gonna just die. Maybe? We'll think about that one. But over time, you know, as a child, I only ate potatoes, corn, carrots, and like cucumber. And that's pretty much it. Like, those were the only vegetables I would tolerate. Nowadays, oh man. Cauliflower, kale, spinach, all the leafy greens. Just delicious. I even, like, I'm so far gone, you know, and you wouldn't know what to look at me necessarily, especially, you know, if I had my shirt off somehow. In which case, you caught me with some kind of spy camera, because I'm not one of those guys who would go out in public and be like, hey, check it out. I prefer to hide my shame. I even close the blinds before I change my shirt. Just think, you never know what kind of creeps are out there. You know, TMZ, lurking. I see you. But I was, you know, cooking yesterday, and it was like a sheet pan chicken with root vegetables under it. So it was kind of like a roasted chicken breast on top of a bed of pretty fibrous vegetables. I sliced up the carrot. I said to myself, you know what? I sliced this one piece of carrot a little bit too thick. Maybe I'll eat it myself and see how it goes. I ate, well, I mean, I know how it's gonna go. It's gonna taste like a carrot. But I ate it, and I was like, man, this carrot is like, it's too sweet. You ever go so far off the deep end, you start to think carrots are candy? Like, that's pretty much what I was getting at there. I was like, this carrot is so sweet, it's like, it's almost inedible. This is an interesting one, huh? We already have 1 HP, so why don't we at least peep this room first? And I actually think, like, map is great, but let's look for something that would, like, kickstart this run, right? So I really feel we definitely do not care about car battery. We would love to get, of course, more money, yes, but also, blood bag would be killer. We're using a little bit of money in the process here, there's no doubt about that. And of course we can still buy a battery charge, and re-rolling Libra is quite sensible. Now that I think about it, we are not going to re-roll our HP, so rather than purchase more HP immediately, we already picked it up. That's my mistake. I think I'm gonna buy a remote detonator, and now, like, maybe, I mean, bomb is not necessarily worth 1 cent, unless that also allows us to maybe get a little further, but maybe we take Libra, and we re-roll the remote detonator. I feel like I could have played this a little differently for sure. I definitely don't dispute that. Like, let's see what this gives us. Black Candle actually is, like, fairly close to redemption. Feel like we've come out on the other side feeling a little bit better about this. And I guess we'll take Libra. I think it definitely carries some obvious negatives. But that doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. And moreover, we can... Oh, it gives us so much money! It's about the money, dummy! You're about to get laser beamed out of the sky. Sorry, this, Dragon's Den again. I guess we'll... Like, we could re-roll the shop a couple of times, but, I feel like maybe... Let's take our chances on this. We got, like, a second crack at the...
I'm excited.
At the goodness here. We got 9 bombs. I would love to find a secret room. They're kind of, you know, in tricky spots. So let's be realistic. It can't be there. because we blew up that hole. It could be here. I was gonna say, like, I'm willing to go pretty hard on this one, but hopefully I don't have to. Let's not take the rest of those pills. We kind of took that first pill under duress. And this is what we're doing, like, you know, forgive me. We're doing Warren Buffett cigar butt strategies here. This floor, you know, you thought it was done, but there's one last puff left inside of it. You gotta breathe deeply into the lungs, but you never know. So I think, like, is there a battery? There's no battery charge. Is there a battery charge? There's a battery charge. We're gonna buy the battery charge. We're gonna re-roll the pills. We got the rosary. I'm going to invest some of these spirit hearts, maybe more than some of these spirit hearts, in trying to, you know, accelerate our growth here. Knowing we have so much HP, I don't think this is too bad. It also actually pays it forward and possibly gives us HP on the next floor. Ace of Clubs, actually a very good way for us to get bombs in the future, or even right now. So you've served your purpose. And I'll just take that. You've served your purpose. I wish we could have gotten a little more out of you, but it's not a bad floor. So we have to remember that what we really want, more than anything else, is the highest magnitude stat gains. Take this. It's not about... We're probably going to Ace of Clubs some of this, which is why I'm not picking anything up yet. We get flexibility by not picking things up, but we probably... We just want maximum stat magnitude. So, like, what's better? Oh, that sucked. What's better, a tiers upgrade or a range upgrade? Well, the answer is with Libra, we don't know yet, right? The only way we're gonna know is once we see how much they actually have an impact, because Libra spreads it out amongst multiple sources. Okay, so this is unbelievably great. Certainly, we want to take this, and, you know, we might as well take that. I would really like Blood Bag. Like, I know I'm kind of, you know, I might sound a little bit entitled, but there's a part of me that's like, come on, man. We've been, you know, going hard on these arcades for as long as I've, like, been on the run. We haven't had a single... Not even IV Bag has showed up yet. Disrespectful. And with Libra, you know, you got positives, but you got some negatives as well. We knew this was coming at some point, but that's all right. We can re-roll it. You pay a premium with Libra. You really do. You know, it is... We can almost guarantee, like, the odds of us improving our damage and our DPS have gone way up, in my opinion, because any stat upgrade will get there. But the thing is, well, we've traded, you know, almost like a guarantee for the chance for us to benefit disproportionately. You know, we really... And we should go hard and try to get those options first, I think. But, especially with Libra. It's more likely we will get to a reputable amount of damage, I think. But it's also substantially less likely that it'll happen due to just picking up one item. So, I think for now, this represents a great time for us to go to our shop, pick up those options. You know, let me at him. You should see the other guy. We're not going to have a reroll, but we're going to be kind of reroll starved here regardless. Because 100%, like, there's no real argument towards, like, doing this as quickly as possible, except that I wanted to clear it off the to-do list. And I do apologize. We're talking a lot about Isaac early on here, but I really do feel like this run's probably going to be sorted in, like, you know, 2 or 3 floors, the way it looks right now. I still think this is 2 stat upgrades, so it's got to be the best option. And then pretty much no matter what, like, we're going to reroll the Bible, so I don't really care to spend my reroll on the deal with the devil when probably we're going to be rerolling on the Bible in the item room regardless, and I don't really think that item is worth picking up right now, to be honest. It's a great item, it's just not for us. Very, very thankful for that, though. Okay, so this is very good. Still very good, no doubt about that. We will go back, reroll the Bible. It's going to give us Polyphemus. Polyphemus is going to balance all of our stats, I think, and then we'll win the run easily. And we'll talk about, I don't know, you know, anecdotally, still a little on the dry side, which is, like, highly understandable, but, Yeah, it's all good. You know, nothing... No real happenings in the world of you know, family and baby right now. The baby's been a little bit more early motivated. So, you know, usually she gets up around 8 or 8:30. And I recognize, by the way, I've been insanely blessed to have had that happen. To be able to go to sleep at like 10:30 or 11 and wake up... I mean, you could say it's after like 8 hours of sleep or 9 hours of sleep even, but that's not the way it works, you know? I went to bed at 11, the baby fussed a little bit at like midnight, so I picked up the baby and I rocked her to sleep and then I put her back down. And, you know, Kate gets up to do some food supply management in the middle of the night. You wake up for a second when that happens, and then the baby starts crying at like 6:30, and you're like, okay, it's time to get up for real. But yeah, you know, I've always, or at least recently I've said I actually kind of enjoy the early rises lately. You know, it might sound obvious, but there's something, and I don't know if this is true for everybody. Like, I think everybody has different parts of the day where they're most productive. I won't go down this road because I've said it, and this is such a good item. I've said it 3,000 times, but I really feel like I'm a morning person who got tricked into thinking that I was not a morning person. We gotta figure out how we're gonna do this, dude. Are we really not gonna get another charge yet again? At least, or another, blood bag? Okay, well, that's one way to do it then. I think we're just gonna hold Ace of Clubs, weirdly enough. We could always reroll it. We want to reroll Flush as well, but we do have a, we got a Tinted Rock back here that will also give us a bomb, and I think there might be one more Tinted Rock around. But anyway, I feel like I'm a morning person who got tricked into thinking I was a night person because I was bored. You know, in like high school, I didn't have anything to do, so like when the weekend rolls around after spending the whole week, you know, waking up at 6:45 a.m. and going to sleep at like 11, you're like, I want to stay up until 4 doing absolutely nothing. So I did. We really don't have any... Did I not pick up that bomb back? Maybe I didn't open... whatever, dude. Whatever, dude. I'm gonna reroll this. And I'm happy to have it. I'm happy to have it. Get me out of this cursed floor, okay? And let me caffeinate here. Brain synapses aren't connecting quite right. Not terribly, not as flushly as I'd like right now, but yeah, but really I do think that in some ways I'm kind of a morning person. I feel like I am definitely, like if I look at my like my chart, if you were to graph my productive output on a XY plane where X is like the time of the day and Y is like the amount of output I have, you would find that, like, I mean, obviously when you're first getting up, you got, like, some basic maintenance stuff to handle, but, like, probably between, I mean, especially with this new schedule, I would say between, like, 9 a.m. and 7 p.m., I'm, like, I hate to say it, I'm a stud. I am gonna toot my own horn. Like, I'm like a heat-seeking missile. I'm a content-seeking missile during that period of the day, and it works very nicely for me. And then after 7, like, getting me to do, I don't want to say, like, a single chore is difficult, but, like, I'm one of those guys, like, once I get the motivation to do a chore, I gotta do it, because if I go, oh, I'll start it in 15 minutes, it's never gonna happen. So I try to seize that energy. Carpe dishes, you know? But I'm not sure if it's true for everybody, but I do feel like there's almost, like, it's a semi-universal or at least common thing. If you're used to getting up later in the morning or even in the afternoon and you start getting up early, despite being awake for the same amount of hours, the day feels much longer. And not in a bad way, like in a great way. I don't really know what the you know, psychological pathways are for that, but genuinely, my experience is if you stay awake from 11 to 4 a.m., 11 a.m. to 4 a.m. Sorry, I'm used to my stream schedule. You know, that's like 17 hours. you know, you have a baseline for what you'd expect that day to look like, right? But I bet you would have the perception that the day is longer if you woke up at 6 a.m. and stayed awake until 11 p.m. That's just my experience, but I don't know. There's just something about it, you know? And some people work best at night, for sure. There's definitely real stories of people that are like, I get my best work done after the sun goes down and there's no distractions. I don't know. I almost feel like there's something almost, there's like an evolutionary psychology or biology explanation for, like, you know, for me, when the sun comes up, my brain is like, let's make some hay. And by hay, I mean The Binding of Isaac, episode 14,000. But yeah, I don't mind being up early. I mean, as long as you get a decent amount of stuff. But even if you, I mean, I know I said, like, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it, okay? Many people owe me an apology. Not like, oh, you offended me greatly. But when I was talking, like, people are so confident when they watch your videos that, like, you know, oh, I've seen 2,000 NL videos. I know him better than he knows himself. No, you don't. I've lived with myself every second of my entire life. You got no idea. You know, you're out here on amateur hour. So I was talking, like, pre-baby. You know, I was saying things like, I think we're probably gonna be tired when the baby, you know, is here, when kid gives birth. But I'm still, like, when people complain about being tired, I'm like, you know, it's not a good thing, obviously, but it's probably, like, the least bad thing you can complain about and still garner some level of sympathy. Like rip to everybody else, but I'm just kind of built different. I understand now, like, I'm cultivating an image as a heel, and then when people are like, wow, what an a-hole, I'm like, why are you so rude? But, you know, I'm cultivating it as a joke, and then you appear to be being rude for real, which is, at least that's my perception. It's probably not how everybody sees it, but okay, not good damage. But you know, we're like 4 months in here. Admittedly, we got a great sleeping baby. I'm not gonna say we got like an average level baby as far as you know, sleeping quality and quantity goes, but here I am, you know. We don't need to reroll these. We should just take what I think is the highest magnitude, and that seems like an amazing all-stats upgrade. And then we should use our rerolls where it's more prudent. As long as we don't need HP, which we don't, because that doesn't get factored into the Libra calculation. But, obviously reroll that. Bumbo, he's kind of close. Like, he's close to being viable for sure, but, you know, I'd prefer to get more stats or some kind of greater utility if possible. But here we are, you know, I didn't sleep amazing last night. And I'm just like, you know, it's just another day. You kind of like, you're tired. And it's cumulative. Like, I know I've complained about it, admittedly, which makes me a hypocrite. But, you know, I hate to say you just sort of get used to it, but that is kind of the case, you know? I forgot what it's like to not have, like, 3 days of not good sleep in a row. So now, when I have, like, 3 merely decent days of sleep in a row, I go, you know what? Not bad. An interrupted 6 hours, feeling itchy all over for some reason, the way you, I don't know, like, if you guys get the same tiredness symptoms as me. We should have taken 2 of diamonds there, I think, assuming it's 2 of diamonds. But I get 2 common symptoms of bad. Oh, way, let's go. 2 common symptoms of bad sleep. One of them is, for some reason, I get itchy all over. I don't know if it's something like, you know, when you sleep well, your body does a better job of, like, you know, I don't want to be gross about it, but a better job of fighting off itchiness. Or dealing with the things that are more likely to lead to itchiness, like maybe your skin gets drier when you don't sleep well. That leads to itchier skin or something like that. And then the other thing is, I can't believe we made it out of there. The other thing is just weird gastrointestinal passage. Let's just leave it at that. Those are like my... If you ever think that I'm pretending to complain about being tired just to garner some sympathy, I'm here to tell you that's not in my character. But secondarily, just be like, hey, really? Oh, you're tired? If you're so tired, why don't you show me a stool sample? If once you see that stool sample, you will be like, I'm sorry, I doubted you. I'm eating. Okay, sure. Well, I'm not, and I'm hungry, so, you know, I'm like the opposite of eating right now. Anyway. So yeah, you know, I'll accept your apology in the form of, just a traditionally written, like, genuine I'm sorry. What it should not say is, can you blame us? Oh, it's not fair. Yes, we were wrong, but it's not our fault. Your baby's awesome. No, you're not. You're right. It's not your fault that our baby's awesome. It's my fault. And Kate's fault, I suppose. But still, you know, you gotta do what's right. Alright, we'll definitely take that. We don't need to blow up mushrooms. We already got magic mush. I guess, like, all the other mushrooms are actually, like, pretty good stats upgrade, but, you know, it's not a pressing concern. This run is starting to, you know, the snowball's moving. We got some very, very positive stuff. We're gonna be a little on the slow side, which is, that's fine. That's where I've operated in many domains throughout my life, is a little on the slow side. School, not so much. Sports, oh, absolutely. Social, oh, come on, don't even... You wouldn't believe it. And people are like, NL, you're good at talking. You must have been a hit in high school. Yeah, you know, just, kind of an ideal situation. You'd be like, you know, a 16-year-old with, early onset male pattern baldness. Which is to say, I was not bald in high school, but occasionally I would have a conversation that was like, no, I don't, no, I'm not going bald. My hair was just always this thin. Then you look at like a photo of yourself in, you know, 6th grade, and you're like, maybe not, actually. Okay, we're gonna go, I think we're gonna go heavy reroll strats here. You usually don't like to void, the D6. Eden Soul, I guess, is kind of an interesting one, right? Like, because it could give us 2 items right off the bat. But you're kind of getting, like, a big benefit early, but you're losing all the utility of the D6 later. So I think we're going to blow this up. We're going to blow this up. And then we're going to just do a straight reroll. And honestly, this is... Oh, you can only take one of those 2 items, but it's still good. Seraphim's a great item. And I think we should maybe... Are there Spirit Hearts available? That's like the only thing I'm interested in right now, is get some Spirit Hearts, you know, preserve... We might as well check. Okay, I regret everything. But we might as well preserve our ability to survive on this run, because pretty much this is like the only... It's the only way we lose at this point, is running out of HP. I know that's like a John Madden, like, you know, the thing is, if this team wants to score a touchdown, they gotta get into the end zone, Al. But, like... You know, obviously the way you lose any Isaac run, the direct mechanism is running out of HP. But sometimes you don't lose an Isaac run because you ran out of HP. You know? You lose an Isaac run because you didn't have enough damage to realistically dodge, you know, enough shots to get you to the end. You know, basically, there's like I'm publishing my PhD thesis defense on Isaac soon. There's a curve called the expected dodge yield, and basically that curve, if you can get it below the magic number of 0.063, that pretty much guarantees a victory with about 99.99% certainty. Definitely, I do like homing tiers. And you know, you can raise your expected ability to dodge, and the amount of time you're able to dodge as a result. Basically, the higher your ability to dodge, the less damage you take per second, or even you could phrase it, the longer you could go without essentially being statistically guaranteed to take too much damage to kill you. Eventually, it hits an asymptote. That basically means the amount of damage you'll take will never, ever reach the amount required to perform lethality. You could get more speed, which makes dodging easier up to a point, up to an upper maximum. You could get greater DPS, obviously. And then the secondary kind of like force on the curve is HP. The more HP you have... I think we'll just take that. The more HP you have, obviously, the you know, the more damage you can weather before you happen to collapse. But yeah, basically, like, I've spun my wheels conversationally as much as I could here. Obviously, that was a joke. If you're waiting for the paper, then, you know, don't hold your breath. Unless you're David Blaine, in which case I still wouldn't recommend it. But, you know, at least, you know, you're an expert. Trained professional on a closed course. But yeah, baby, you know, Been sleeping well, but like a little less than usual. I guess there's something called a sleep regression. Which is basically like you get really confident that your baby sleeps super well, or at least relatively well, and then well, we don't really want tarot cloth. Why are you trying to hide it, man? That's very sus of you. And then like just when you think you've got the you got the baby figured out, she throws you a curveball and she's like, bam, I'm I was gonna say I'm a dream viewer, like Minecraft. Like I don't know, does anybody, if you're still watching these Isaac videos, do you watch any other YouTube at this point? I don't mean that to sound like, oh, you must be like so into me that you don't watch any other YouTubers. Like I put out a lot of content daily, I'll admit, but not everybody has chosen to hook themselves 100% up to the fire hose. A lot of people, they pick and choose what they like, which I understand. There's like YouTube channels, I watch some of the content, I don't watch some of the other content. Like, I mean, I guess I would divide it in like two ways, right? There's YouTubers like who are people watch for the content, and I think every YouTuber starts there. And then there's YouTubers who like people watch for the YouTuber. I think I have definitely, every YouTuber exists in some kind of balance. You can tell just by the view count of the series that they run, right? But for the most part, I think over time I have gone from a YouTuber that people watch because of what he's doing to a YouTuber that most people at this point probably watch because I have like a reputation. I have a track record of keeping the verbal diarrhea going for the whole episode, and they're like, even though I may not necessarily think the game that he's playing looks good, the fact that it's him playing it, I know what I'm gonna get. And for some people, that's like, that's why I know I don't watch NL, because I hate his smarminess. And for some people, they're like, I like his unique insights, and I'm happy to have you. But I watch some like very, very, I don't want to say boring, because I don't think that's fair to them. But I watch, let's call them like some very conventional investing YouTubers who essentially their videos are like going through balance sheets of companies and being like, here's the factors in the business and the segment or the sector of the economy, I should say. Like, oh, it's an oil company. But like the price of oil is low, but at the same time it got beaten down like really bad in March when the COVID hit, and energy demands were really low because people weren't commuting to work. So there's kind of like a recovery play here, but also the long-term outlook on oil is obviously like on the negative. So anyway, I watch YouTubers like that sometimes when I get a chance, and then every once in a while they'll upload a video that's like me and my family at Disneyland, and I'm like, I'm not watching that. Are you crazy? If you want to watch it, like, don't get me wrong, it doesn't bother me that people watch it, and it doesn't bother me that they made it. It's their channel. I'm not gonna unsubscribe because there's like 1 out of 50 videos is not what I expect it to be. But in my head, I'm like, I mean, I watched this guy to see if like cargo jet is a good buy on the TSX, and then he's like, here's me at a barbecue in my backyard, and I'm like, cool, I hope you had a great time. Do not care, which is fine for the record, but I'm happy for you. Or I didn't read all that, but sorry that happened, or congrats or whatever. But where we started with this is like, there was a time where I was kind of like, I mean, I'm part of the YouTube ecosystem. I don't mean to cultivate this image of like, oh, I'm above chasing trends on YouTube, because I don't think that's true, And if anything, like, I think that it has been to my detriment to some extent to kind of cultivate this image of like, oh, I'm not like other YouTubers. I'm a cool YouTuber. I don't call my episodes things that would want new viewers. It would make new viewers want to click on them. I call them like, Isaac number 635, Perdition. I think there's been gains from that, and there's been negatives as well. I'm not like an anti-YouTuber anymore. At least I'm more just like a dude trying to like make his way in the world, right? But there was a time where like people would they would ask me, like, what do you think about other YouTubers? Oh, have you seen, like, Jacksepticeye? What do you think about PewDiePie, etc., etc.? I feel like it has been at least 18 months since there was any kind of critical mass, since anybody asked me about the overall YouTube space. And it's nice, like, I had to, cause, like, it's not that well, no, it is that I don't care. Like, I don't know, it's weird to me, like, when there used to be times people would, you know, like, be in the comments, they'd be like, hey, what do you think about the drama surrounding, like, this YouTuber you've never watched? And I'd be like, dude, I don't know. Seems stupid. What do you think? What did they do? Oh, they, you know, crashed their car into a dude. What do you expect me to say? Oh, sick! He shouldn't have been standing there, you know? I'm like, yeah, this sucks. Why do I really need to comment on that? Can we just have, like, a standing assumption that, like, when YouTubers do crimes, I think it's a bad thing? I was gonna say, depending on the crime. No, I mean, pretty much universally. I'm not gonna do a tier list of which crimes are worse. There are definitely some that are worse. I would not. You'd have to be, in my opinion, very intellectually dishonest to say that all crimes are. I mean, all crimes are bad. Even is kind of a strange sentiment, I guess. But look, I'm getting myself down a rabbit hole here. I don't mean to advocate for crime, but you know, you always come back to the example. You're like, is it justified for, you know, like a mother to shoplift a loaf of bread from the grocery store in order to feed her children? You know, if you're coming back to that example, then yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna, oh no, she, like, just shouldn't. Oh, but what if that loaf of bread put the grocer into bankruptcy and then he can't feed his children? Like, you just get, like, too far into this idea that, you know, like, you can construct the thought experiment. I wish that more people agreed with me on this. You can essentially construct a thought experiment to prove any point. That's not to say that there's not some validity in thought experiments, but you can you know, it's something like, you know, my wife does all the time, and I openly tell her how it frustrates me, but she'll, in my opinion, and fellas, tell me, can you relate to this? Really, anybody, can you relate to this? She constructs dilemmas that I think are designed to test the limits of my hypothetical goodness. Like, the other day I mentioned on stream, but she hit me with something like, if I got in a car accident and they had to do emergency facial reconstruction, and they replaced my face with a man's face, would you still love me? What are you supposed to say in that situation? I know, because I know that people are going to say, you're supposed to say yes, honey, of course. I have done that. Every time, all it leads to is an escalation. Is, well, what if, you know, like, what if they replaced my brain with another person's brain? And then you're like, wait a minute. Okay, so now, like, am I supposed to say, like, I wouldn't love the new you because it wouldn't be your brain anymore? Or is this, like, a metaphysical discussion about, like, is there a soul that's inhabited, and where does the soul reside within an individual? Or, like, you know, it's just, I feel like and I'm not, like, you know, it's not a deal breaker, obviously, or anything like that. I'm just mining it for humor. But I feel like I never constructed a question designed to kind of, like, on the NLSS maybe, but apart from that, in real life, I've never constructed a question designed to, like, kind of force somebody to be like, okay, at that point I'm out. I don't know, it just kind of, like, what if I am in a car accident and, you know, they replaced my face with, like, Gilbert Gottfried's face? Would you still love me? I mean, that's disrespectful to Gilbert Gottfried. He seems like an affable guy, but I'm just saying, you know, basically what I'm getting at is you can construct a thought experiment to prove any point you want to prove. So you know, you gotta, I don't know where I'm going with this, actually. Suffice it to say, maybe that's why I'm so good at constructing these kind of thought experiments, at least in my opinion. Because I deal with them in my personal life from time to time. Is a combination of that and, like, apologizing because, like, me in a dream did something that was, not okay. But every once in a while, there's a flip side. Like, sometimes Kate wakes up and I can tell she's in a good mood. And I'm like, oh, did you have a good sleep? And she's like, yeah, Dream You was really supportive. And I'm like, oh, thank you, Dream Me. Sometimes she wakes up and, she's a little sour. And I'm like, oh, what's wrong? And she's like, you were a jerk in a dream I just had. And I'm like, ah. And then I try to rationally explain, sweetie, that's not me. It's actually your own brain. You should be mad at yourself, not mad at me. And then that doesn't go over well. No, I don't actually say that, but it is true. But you can't say it. Anyway. I wouldn't recommend trying to apply that argument. I don't know. It depends. Everybody's different. Maybe some people would be like, you know what, you're right. But I think that you got to know what you're dealing with. That's for sure. All right. I mean, we don't really have any problems with this run. Like this one is pretty much set. We should be facing very limited strife. It was pretty much from the get-go. This one was pretty. Well, I mean, not from the get-go, but like that first floor gave us a lot of momentum. Being able to play the arcade like we did, and then of course, all the stat upgrades plus Brimstone and so on and so forth. If anything, I still think Libra held us back a little bit. I feel like Magic Mush, in particular, would have taken us to like a new level. If we didn't take Libra, but you know what? It's kind of, some of the meat and potatoes of Isaac, you're trying to maybe not stay zany, but, keep it, not avoid risk, just for the purposes of avoiding risk, Some risks are obviously, like, just disproportionately terrible, like, there's a reason I didn't take my reflection. Even though it does come with a pretty sizable range upgrade, I think, but something like Libra, you never know. It could be a lot of fun. And then all you need is soy milk, and then you're pogging. Sorry, your Komodo hype is what I meant to say. Don't even get me started on new PogChamp, man. It's a whole... And you might think, like, yeah, new PogChamp sucks. That's not what I'm getting at. Now, like, so, the creator whose face was the original PogChamp tweeted some stuff Twitch found disagreeable, so they said we're removing PogChamp as a global emote. Streamer by the name of Day9 was like, it'd be cool to spotlight creators on Twitch is if Twitch rotated the face of PogChamp every single day. Everyone went, wow, Day9, cool idea. By the way, love Day9, worked with him at least a little bit on the Twitch Chat's Choice Awards, was a lot of fun. I thought it was a great idea. Now what happens, and I should have seen this forward, because I've seen this coming, because I've been on the internet long enough, but now what happens is that every day there's a new PogChamp face. And what that means is that about 5 to 25% of chat activity site-wide on Twitch is reviewing the new PogChamp, and they always hate it. And it's such a waste of everybody's time. I apologize, but like every day I come into my chat, new PogChamp. No offense, well, what is this PogChamp? I apologize, no hate to the PogChamp, but he looks more scared than pogged. Bro, the amount of text being typed up every single day that is reviewing a 28 by 28 pixel emoji. I'm begging you, just recontextualize what this means to your life. I'm getting hammered out of here by misanthropy, but just hey, no offense to the new PogChamp, but where's this guy on PogChamp? It's been 5 days on a website with 35,000 partners and he hasn't been featured yet. Everyone just chill out. It's an emoji. It's an emoji. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you guys... I just think they're disrespecting the spirit of Pog. This emoji's not in the spirit of Pog. The legacy of PogChamp is it's an emote! Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya!